everyone, welcome back to my channel. So happy to see everybody here. If you are new here, thank you for coming. If you are already a member, don't forget to comment and like and share. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. So today, I'm sure by the headline, y'all can see what the topic of today's video is going to be. First of all, I want to say the more and more I get in front of the camera, the more comfortable I get. I love that for me. So anyway, we're gonna call this mommy issue, daddy issue. We're gonna like sum it up and call it the parent wound. What brought on this conversation was 2 days ago. Was it yesterday? Might have been yesterday. I was talking to my siblings, and my sister was going through it with my mom a little. And the funny thing about me making this video is that I had asked my brother and sister, like, yo, what should I talk about next on the YouTube? Because like I'm like low-key struggling with topics, like, you know, the creativity is not flowing in. And they were like, talk about me, talk about me. And I was like, what about y'all? But I'm about to expose them, so they should have been careful about what they wish for. Anyway, we're going to talk about the parent wound. We're going to talk about mommy and daddy issues. I'm going to share my experiences in light, not too heavy. Just because I would say maybe this year, I believe I have finally gotten over or worked through completely my mommy issues. My dad issues, I'm still working through those, just because I'm learning to accept. Like right now I'm in the process of accepting. But what I want to start off by saying is we do not excuse or make excuses for abuse, any kind of abuse. We don't. So, you know, some people may have like a magnitude of issues with their parents that are way bigger than like something I may have gone through. Or one thing we don't excuse though is abuse. We don't. Abusing children, abusing adults, like whatever. It's horrible, and we ain't excusing that. I don't care if we don't excuse that. But I'll tell you guys a couple of things that I have had to come to terms with as it pertains to mom issues or dad issues. Something that I'm learning, which kind of makes my parents feel really small now that I'm older. Like growing up, you think your parents are big, they're big bosses, they're on their shit, they're on their job, they're doing, but like then you start to get older and see the things that they're doing and get to observe, especially if you are a parent yourself. And you get to see that your parents are really just big people, little people in big bodies, paying bills and going about this world. And a lot of our parents are stuck at the age that they went through trauma. So you think your parents are, you know, that girl, that guy, they, you know, living in the world and they're handling their business, and, you know, they have the home set up and they have the kids and the husband or the man or whatever it is. And then you grow up and you realize like, yo, your parents are this small. Some of our parents are literally children in big bodies. And that is something that I had to accept. Like a lot of the behavior that stemmed with like, I guess my expectation that I have from my parents is like, they can't be that. They're stuck. Like some of our parents are stuck at 14, stuck at 15. Like for example, my mother had my brother when she was 16, turning 17. I don't want to say my mom is stuck at 16, but I'm pretty sure throughout the life that I've lived with her, she was stuck at that age at some point. Within my experience, you know, my mom, I would say our parents did what they thought was right. Now, like I said in the beginning, we are not condoning or excusing abuse. That's just not right. But some of our parents raised us in a manner that they thought was right. It may have not been the best. Like some of us say our parents did the best. Some of us say our parents did what's right, what they thought was right. I don't want to say our parents did the best. I feel like they did what they thought was right. Like in my experience with my mom, you know, people, if you know my mom, you know, people love my mom, child. They love Miss Hill. And I used to just be like, pew. Ew, why y'all, this lady? Why? Because there are times when my mom can just be so graceful and so peaceful. And then there are times as a daughter, first daughter at that, that my mom has in the past done some really shysty things. Some things that like have hurt my feelings, just changed the way I viewed her. And my sister was, you know, going through with my mom the other day, and my sister had gone through some things in the past with our mom. And I feel like my sister right now is in like a resentment phase. My sister is 4 years younger than me. I'm 25, she's 21. She's actually about to be 22 in a couple days. I think by the time I drop this, she'll probably be 22. So happy birthday, Pootie. My sister is 4 years younger than me. So I feel like my sister is in a resentment phase with my mom. Don't get me wrong, they never like go back and forth really, and they get along, you know, when they're around each other. But I feel like because of the things that my sister went through with my mom, she has like underlying resentment with my mom. And yesterday I had to tell my sister, like, I would never ever, when it comes to anything you've gone through in life, I will never tell somebody to get over it. I think it's very dismissive. I think it's very like impatient. I feel like instead of telling somebody to get over something, I just say like work through it. Because if you don't work through something, it's going to consume you. It'll consume you. It'll start to seep through your pores, show up in your life, show up in the way you speak, show up in the way you treat other people. So I had to tell my sister, like, yo, just work through it, because I know exactly what you're going through, okay? I had some resentment teased with Miss Hill, and I had to get over that, because who wants to hold on to stuff like that? Like, a lot of times I have realized when it comes to the parent wound, a lot of people were raised in households where their parents did not speak anything positive into them. So that is how they communicate to the world, and that is how they communicate to other people. Just imagine people that grow up in households where their parents like, you ain't shit. You ain't gonna be shit. What the fuck are you doing? You don't know what the fuck you doing. That's ugly. That's dumb. That's stupid. So now when they talk to people, like a person that comes from a place of love, or they were raised in love for the most part, they're going to see the world from a whole different perspective. But people that were brought into homes where no one thought highly of you, no one expected anything of you, no one was there to nurture you, they grow up and they see the world in that manner, and they talk to people in that manner. And I think it's really unfortunate. Like, growing up and being older, you start to think like, well, I specifically start to see like, yo, the way my mother never spoke to me that way. We weren't even allowed to say stuff like that in our house, like stupid and dumb. That wasn't like in our vocabulary. My mother was just like, no, we don't say those words. But growing up, like now that I'm grown and I can see and I can observe and sit back and think about people's upbringings, think about someone that talks that way, think about what they're already carrying. Sometimes I feel bad for people, like, that's a plate of food that you're eating every day. So I had to tell my sister, like, don't resent, like, because she's in her resentment phase, don't get over what you went through, because it's very valid. And you have a right to feel that way, especially if you have a parent that you bring up things to them, and it's like they can never just be like, you know what, I was dead wrong. You know, I have gone through this in my life, and you know, I just didn't know. I just didn't know. I just didn't have what you needed. And a lot of parents can be dismissive. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you have food and clothes and shelter, right? And you da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, a lot of us our age can't get through to our parents. And I feel like when you get to that part in your adulthood, and you realize when you're bringing up certain things to your parents, and it's just not getting through to them, you have to accept for yourself that a lot of our parents aren't changing, especially at 50, 40, you know, 50, up there close to the 50s, they're getting older. You think they're going to change? Like, a lot of our parents are not open to change. And you're going to have to accept that so you can live the life you want to without resentment and anger and trauma and hurt and just feeling the burden of like the things you went through when you were younger. And I feel like when you're an adult and you hold those things in, it's because we had expectations of what our parents were supposed to be like. You looking at your mom, you thinking all you're supposed to see is mommy. Mommy, you're supposed to cater to me, you're supposed to be nice to me, nurture me, feed me, clothe me, hold me down, tell me I'm right, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm this, tell me I'm nice. And your mother has, like I said, some of our parents are still stuck at that age at 16, 17, 18 where they went through what they went through, and you're holding on to that expectation of them, and they're going through whatever they're going through trying to raise you. Like I said, our parents did what they thought was right. They did, child. They tried, child. And I feel like what's so good about our generation is that like we're open to being like, okay, I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be hurtful. I don't want to be hurting. I don't want to hold in resentment. I'm going to go to therapy, or I'm going to try other ways to fix it, or I'm going to tap into my inner child, or whatever it is. But I feel like when you release the expectation of your mom and your mom, the mommy and the daddy, as you get older, like you can move forward, especially if you're somebody that actually wants to have a decent relationship with your parent. You know, it's some people that have written off their parents. Fuck it, fuck you. Like, cool, everybody has their decision to make, but if you aim to have an okay relationship with your mother where you can, you know, chat it up, talk, speak, you know, go out a few times of the year, you know, really like strictly platonic, I feel like you have to do some accepting, and you have to release the expectation of the mommy and the daddy. It has to go. I'm sorry, my love. It does. It has to go. Because, and another thing that I'll tell y'all about the mommy and daddy is a lot of our parents, this might be a little deep, so listen up, listen closely. Some of our parents were just vessels to bring you up onto the earth. Boom. I know that may hurt. Go ahead, grab your tissue. Pat your eyes, pat your makeup, stink. It's okay. It might hurt. That might hurt you. But some of our parents, their only job here on earth was not just to be a parent. That is that expectation of mommy and daddy that you still hold. Some of our parents were just a vessel, baby. Which is why you have your best friend's mom that you love so much, or your boyfriend's mother that you love so much, and you wish your mother could have been that. But the reality is, honey, she's not, and she can't be, and she won't be. So work with that. Now that you have that knowledge, work with that. Never get over it, because that's dismissive and impatient. But work with that. With that information you have, work with it. Now you can accept yourself, and now you can accept your mother or your father. Something else that I've learned as I've gotten older and released the expectation of mommy and daddy is that some of us, even though our parents are older and they may have more wisdom, some of us are here to be our parents' teachers. I'm going to let you sit with that for a little bit. I'm going to let you sit with that one. Some of us are here to be our parents' parent. Some of us are here to nurse our parents' inner childhood wounds. Do y'all know that y'all parents used to be children too? Your parent was a teenager too. They was a young 20, 30-year-old too. Some of us are here to be our parents' parent. Some of us are here to be our parents' teacher. I'm going to let that sit in one more time. I'm going to let that bake like that makeup. Yeah. Some of us are here to be our parents' teacher. That is why I tell y'all, well, I'm telling y'all, so ever so gracefully, release the expectation of mommy and daddy. It's gone, baby. Especially if you have kids. It's gone, baby. It's over. It's like, it's gone. Work through it with the information that you have. It's gone. And I know that that's sad. And I know that that's like a coming of age thing or like a loss of innocence. Your expectation for your parent is gone. It's gone. I know you may have seen your friend in high school and they had the bomb relationship with their mother or the bomb relationship with their father, and you wish that you could have that. It's gone. We can always make a new, but the mommy and daddy, the 10, 11, 12, 8, 9, the is over. That relationship, that mommy daddy, it's over. I wish to free any of my peers in this generation that live on the expectation of their parent. Meaning, what your parent wants for you, you think is best for you. Or any accomplishments that you achieve, you do that for the pleasure and the validation of your parents. I'ma release you from it, baby. I'm releasing you from it. Because you are not your parents. You are not your parents' expectations. You are not your parents' downfalls. I want to release my peers. Regardless if the person is your parent or not, your mother or your father or not, if they can't accept you how you are, they simply just can't accept you. Like, I don't live for the validation and the expectation of my mother or my father. Because it's just like, what I'm doing with my life is what I'm doing with my life. We all have a purpose here. We all have our own journey to follow, our own things to love, our own things to do. And I just want to release my peers of this generation of what their parents think that they should be doing or how they should be acting. Here's an example. My mother likes to say, this is so dumb. My mother likes to say, I became a mom in 2018. Your shorts are too tight. You're a mother. Pull this down. You're a mother. You're a mother. And I used to tell her, lady, when I have my son, I am 22, not 45. I'm going to wear these hoochie shorts. Because number one, and this, I will tell anybody this, I come first. I know a lot of moms out there, this is like a little side note, a lot of moms out there like to dedicate their whole existence to being a mother. I dedicate my whole existence in being to myself. And I am unapologetic about that, okay? I love my kid to death. And he comes second. He actually comes third. Because it's God, myself, and then my son. And when I become married, that's another story. But your children will eventually leave you. So find purpose in this life that is besides your children. So yeah, and I used to just be like, girl, what are you talking, like, okay, I'm a mother and he's fed and he's clothed and he's sheltered and he's happy. And I'm gonna wear these hoochie shorts. And the crazy thing about it, if you know me, you know, I don't even wear anything to where it could be like, oh girl, that's distasteful. But like, girl, like I said, I hope to release my peers of this generation of their parents' expectations and their parents' validation. I am my own person, and if you don't accept me, parent or not, you just don't accept me. Like, that doesn't worry me, that doesn't concern me. But I would say an experience that I've had to where I've had to just come to the conclusion that, like, I've had to just accept my mother as she is. I would probably say, like, repeatedly trying to tell her that she has maybe, like, upset me in a way, or she used to do something in the past, and my mother would just never just be like, I apologize if you felt that way. I apologize. Like, I feel like some parents, including mine, just can't come to the terms that they did something wrong in their raising me or in their raising us. It can never just be like, you know what, you're right. Especially, I'm a grown woman now and I have my own child. So like, I haven't raised a child full grown like my mother has, but now like going forward, knowing what I want to raise my child like, I would never dismiss my child's feelings or not validate them, but never be like, okay, I saw where you could be hurt in that moment and I do apologize for that. I would never not be like, oh well, you know, the reason why I did that was because, you know, and that's what I used to get a lot. Oh well, the reason why I did that is because you don't da 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 and you da blah 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 blah. And it just be like, yo, you can't just be like, I apologize. I feel like that is so hard for people in general, just to be like, yo, I was wrong. Even if I did feel that way, if it hurt your feelings, I apologize for it hurting your feelings. Or I apologize for it, blase, blase, blase. People can never just be like, I was dead ass wrong. Parents, especially in this instance, but people in general, people, parents, friends, they can never just be like, yo, I was dead ass wrong. And I apologize. And I'm sorry for that. You know, maybe I could have said that with a little more precision. But you know, I used to bring up things to my mom and she used to just be like, well, I did that because you was young and you didn't listen to me and blah blah. And it just be like, okay, well, and you going about that, it was dead ass wrong. I had to accept that a lot of our parents, because our mothers were single mothers, or even if you had a single father, a lot of times they get the most flack because we were the only parent that they saw. You know what I mean? You can't say nothing bad about your dad because he was never around. So of course you got to see your mother fuck up, mess up. You got to see, like, you got to grow up. You got to see her blow up. You know what I mean? You only seen your mother. So you only seen everything that she's done. You don't get to say anything about dad that wasn't there. Granted, him not being there is a big magnitude. That's a big bag of things that you could say, but he wasn't there. You didn't get to see your dad fuck up. You didn't get to see your dad blow up, show up, grow up. You didn't get to see that really. You may have saw him a couple weekends, couple days out the year, some of us, but I feel like a lot of times our mothers get the worst, or they get put through the ringer because we saw the most of them. And I feel like getting older, with that, I get to give my mother grace. I get to be the bigger person, but I get to give my mother grace. I get to give my mother grace because it was mostly her. And I had a stepfather in the house, and I don't want to take away from him, but like when it comes to my real father, I saw mostly my mom doing the most. So I don't get to say a lot of bad things about my father because I wasn't with him all the time. I will say though, in my relationship with my father now, it is a bit strained. It's a bit strained, and I honestly feel like I really don't really know my dad, because like knowing him and being with him when I'm younger is some things you just don't understand. It's some things that you just go way over your head. It's just some things you look past because you're young and you're not really paying attention. And then you start to get older and you realize, you know, this person that your mother thought was a villain and you thought was an angel, it's not. He's not. But just like your mother, he was doing what he thought was right. And we all know when it comes to men, a lot of times men are what? In the mind, less mature than moms. So you thinking your dad is funny, he getting money, nigga, and you know, he's a good time, he's a ball. But it's like, you know, we would go to my dad's house and spend the night, and my mom used to be like, no, you're not packing anything because he's a father, so he should have things for you at his house. And we used to be like, girl, you tripping. But like then you get older and you be like, no, he was tripping. Because no, for real, if you have children, they should be just as comfortable over there as you are with your mother. Why does my mom have to buy 2 of everything for another like, it was just a mess. You get older and you start to realize like he was a mess. And especially if you had a young father. He was young. That's it. He was just young. He wasn't like all the way there like he needed to be. He wasn't. And it's funny because my father had a 2-parent household. So, child, anyway. Yeah, thought our dad was lit. And then you grow up and be like, he might have had some money. And he might have been maybe, you know, my favorite thing to say about my dad is he made us laugh. We used to kiki. But like, I can never just take away and be like, oh, my mother just did all this wrong stuff. Like, she was the main parent. So it's like, what could you really say? Like, of course you're going to see her fuck up the most. She's always there. She's always in our face. And I think why I'm still learning to accept and work through my problems when it comes to my dad is because I believe that I'm still holding on to this idea that he's supposed to be like in constant communication with me and like a protector and a provider and you know, the things that I see. And the reason why I think I hold on to it so much is because my stepdad is that, my boyfriend is that, and even my brother is that. So it just, like, to me, I just be thinking like, well, why can't you be that? You know, I have all these wonderful examples around me, and the man that has, like, you know, helped my mother make me is like half of that. So I think I'm just still holding on to that. And, you know, even when I do talk to my dad sometimes, I get things like, you know, well, I have stuff going on up here, and it just be like, okay, well, I'm your child. I'm still holding on to that my daddy thing. And it's like, I am in the accepting of like, I believe when it comes to my father, he is not on earth just to be a parent. I feel like my mother knows that in herself. She's not on this earth just to be a parent, but I feel like my mother understands that just because your kids get older, being a mom doesn't stop. I feel like my mom understands that. I feel like my father does not understand that. And that is okay. That is okay. I'm learning to accept that is okay. If that is his role on this earth, I'm learning to accept that. Not, like I said, some of our parents are just here to be vessels, honey. Some of us are here to be our parents' teachers. Some of us are here to be our parents' parent. So I've had to accept, like, maybe my father's role on this earth is not just to be a father. And I can accept him that way, and we can kiki and ha-ha, and that'll be it for me. I'm not looking for protection. I'm not looking to be provided for. When it comes to my dad, I'm in the acceptance stages of that. But like I said, I believe my mother has accepted, like, you know, outside of her being herself, she understands that, like, being a mom doesn't stop. And I do appreciate her for that. A lot of our parents, have stopped. They just stopped. I felt like, you know, I had to ask my dad for a favor. And, you know, he was just like, you know, it was just giving like, you know. And I just felt like, well, you know, I'm not married yet. So I feel like until this man, you know, granted, I can ask my boyfriend for anything. But, like, until I'm made an honest woman out of, like, I still should be able to go to my father and be like, hey, I need this, or I need some advice, or I need a favor. I need you to help me with something. And it was just very much like, and I was just like, ooh. Girl. Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm learning to accept, like, I'm not looking to be provided for, and I'm not looking to be, like, protected by my father anymore. I feel like that daddy image, I have to learn to accept. It's not happening, girl. It has ran away from me. It's gone. It's gone. Quick side note, right? I made my son lunch. After he took his nap, I made him lunch. His favorites. Peanut butter jelly cookies and some cherries. Not even, maybe 45 minutes. An hour. He talking about he want a snack. He didn't finish his cookies, and he did not finish a snack. Prayers for the parents. I tell everybody, CPS, they need to make a PPS. A Parent Protective Services. Because these children. These children. But anyway, so yeah, I'm in the acceptance stages of that. And I feel like the more and more I heal, like my parent wounds, the more I'll just be able to step into like my highest woman, so I can be available for my children in the way that I feel like I need to show up for them. Like I told y'all, my children are not my first priority, and I hope that doesn't sound crazy to y'all, but I am my first priority. And God, like me and God, we want one with it. Like then the kid is next. If I'm not together, the kid blowing in the wind. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I feel like as I heal the parent wound, I can just be the best parent that I need to be for my children. So now I want to talk about how to move forward, or how to accept yourself, how to accept your role in your parent's life, so that you can heal your parent wound, okay? Because it's time. All of that, well, my parent and, you know, when I went through when I was younger, it's over. Sometimes when it comes to healing, I get tired of it, of hearing the same things, because it's like, you know, damn, all we do is heal. You know, let's heal it and get over with so we can celebrate and we can be better. So what I will say is, if you have had a conversation with your parent in the past, this is for us who haven't completely written our parents off. If you have had a conversation with your parent in the past and all you get from them is backlash or like tension, or you never get anything resolved, stop. You are hurting yourself, and you are picking at that wound that was almost healed. Stop. Because with the expectation you are looking for to get out of the conversation, it's never going to happen. So step one, if this is for people that have brought up conversations with their parents and they continue to do so and they're getting the same answer, which means that you need to change something within yourself when it comes to how you interact or react, or the expectation that you have for your parent. Stop. Let's make a change. Let's acknowledge that our parents often did what they thought was right. Okay? And I know y'all might be like, yeah, whatever, my mother, she was blah, blah, blah. Let's accept. Let's acknowledge that your mother, most of our parents was what? 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I'm 25. I don't have it figured out yet. You think our parents did? Them crack babies in the 80s. They didn't. They didn't. Let's acknowledge that they did what they thought was right. You are here today, still alive, which means you are still able to make a change. Let us, some of us, because some of us have had horrible parents, drug abusers, alcoholics, abusers, neglectful. Let's acknowledge that some of our parents were just vessels to bring us here. Ooh, I know it stung. It stung. Let's acknowledge that. Because the more we begin to break down and acknowledge these things, you can accept yourself, you can accept the fact that your parent isn't changing, and you can move on. Especially if you aim to have an okay relationship with them. It don't have to be buddy-buddy. Like I said, the mommy and daddy thing is over. It's dead, sis. It's dead, brother. So it's over. You can, if you aim to have a better relationship, do more accepting. For an example, in Maryland, I live 12 minutes away from my mother, which means I could travel to her house, say, hey mom, get a hug, let her see her grandkid, hang out, talk. And when I wanted to go home, guess what I did? I went home. And that was it. You know, a lot of times I feel like we get around our parents and we subject ourselves to disappointment. Because again, we haven't accepted that our mother's never going to change. She's never going to give us the answers that we want. She's never going to apologize. She's never going to say sorry. She's never going to cuddle you up and kiss you up and cuddle you like you were 3 years old. It's just never going to happen again. So we have to accept. Accept it so we can move forward. Like I said, I would never tell somebody to let go of the hurt that the two most important people in their life were supposed to, and I put quotation marks on that because that's an expectation. The expectation that we have that they were supposed to do, it's never let it go, because like I said, it's impatient and dismissive, but work through that. Part of working through that is accepting, acknowledging. You know, ain't nothing like a good time to hang out with your mom and then leave. It's nothing like a good time. It's one of my favorite times. Oh, hey girl, what you been up to? Oh, okay. Then your mom starts to get into the mode that once she starts to get to the mode where you be like, oh, it's time to go. You can leave. We're adults now. Most of us, we can leave. And you know, start again. Hey mom, how you doing? How's it going? Oh, great to hear that you're alive. Great to hear that you're healthy. You need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? No. And guess what you have done? You have cultivated a peaceful mind and heart for yourself. And now you driving down 95, hair blowing in the wind. Okay? Hair blowing in the wind. Hair blowing through the scalp. Because you have protected your peace. You know, you're not subjecting yourself to disappointment. When you're a kid, you have to live with them and be with them 24/7. So you got to hear your mother slamming the door, slamming the cabinet, slamming this, da-da-da-da. You know, remember the times when you and your siblings, or maybe if you was the only child, you was home alone, honey. As soon as you heard that car drive up, them keys hit the door, depression. You don't have that anymore. You just protected your peace by just keeping it brief. Some of us have to keep it brief with our parents. Like I said, hey mom, how you doing? Need anything? No, good to hear from you. Love you. Bye. I've just protected my peace. I have just moved a step closer to where I want to be in life because I'm actively healing my parent wound. A lot of times, the acknowledgement or the apology that you want to get from your mother, you have to just give to yourself. You have to just give it to yourself, because you're never going to get it from your mother. Your mother never thinks she did anything wrong to you when she was young. Or your father, your parent. They never thought they did anything wrong. You know, they're never going to say sorry. Apology, I fed you. I clothed you. I birthed you. I was in labor for 25, 67 hours. And it's just like, okay, my time here is up. Bye, mom. You know what I mean? Acceptance and acknowledgement and working through. I feel like accepting something is such a, powerful thing. Acceptance is like a step stool to your healing. Once you accept some things for what they are, you'll be able to just move forward. You'll be able to get on to that next step to keep going. The last step to acceptance or to healing the parent wound is the thing about being a parent to your parent or being a teacher to your parent has to do everything with showing how you show up in front of them. If your mother says something to you that you don't like to hear, let her know as an adult it doesn't fly. You know, and if you have to, you may have pulled up to your mother's house just 2 minutes. And if you have to leave, you can do that now. Okay, well, see ya. You know, I don't have to deal, I don't, you know, okay. Okay, girl. That's how it be. Okay, girl. Like, you know, I'm just like, I'm no longer looking for the mommy and daddy. I'm no longer the little child you thought I was. So, you know, the disrespect that you think you're gonna pull, it's not happening. It says everything about how you show up in front of your parents now that might teach them, like, you know, hey, I might not be able to talk to my son this way. You know, this is an adult to adult conversation. This is no longer like I'm the adult, you the kid. Granted, you are my mother or you are my father. And there is maybe some level of respect because of that, but I'm not a child anymore. So, you know, I feel like a part of the healing wound is how you show up to your parent. You know, what can you say about me? You know, I have grown into a beautiful adult and I'm thriving. I may not have it all together, but I'm thriving. I don't ever want to come on here and be like, well, I have a house and a car and this, and because it's like, you know, what are those things? But here, I am peaceful. I'm respectful to my peers. You know, I'm respectful to the planet, to the people. I give grace and respect to everybody. And as an adult, that is how I show up in the world, and that is how you're going to treat me. You know, I feel like sometimes when our parents, as we're older, you know, you just let your parent continue to beat down on you. And it's like, girl, I'm not a child anymore. You know, watch your mouth. Going forward, release the expectations of your parents. They are no longer mommy and daddy to you. And this is obviously for people that have gone through the fire or super tenseful things with their parents. They are no longer mommy and daddy. Release it. Release your mind. Release the parent. Release the job. Release them. Accept your parents are who they are. They did what they thought was right. You know, they're not changing. Show up for yourself. Allow yourself to teach your parents how to deal with you now. You know, and you know, keep it brief with your parents if you have to. If you have that relationship with your parent that you can only keep it brief with them because you have to accept that is who they are, that is okay. It's okay. I feel like another expectation that we have with our parents is like, oh, well, they're my mother, so I have to, oh, they're my father, so I have to just take this discredit and this disrespect. And it's not. Show up for yourself. You know, that might have been all right in the past when you was feeding me and clothing me and sheltering me, but now you're not. And that is not how anyone in my life talks to me. Show up. Show up. Stand up for yourself. And it don't even have to be disrespectful, like, bitch, who the fuck are you talking to me? I'm a grown-ass man. It could just be like, you know, I think we should stop this conversation. You know, I'm not here to be, you know, I'm here with it. I'm here with it. Because let me tell y'all something. One thing about me, but wait, before I tell y'all something, accept, acknowledge, show up for yourself, work through it, release the expectation of the mommy and daddy. One thing about me, I would say, because I have a close relationship with my mother, I feel like just based off how we grew up, like my mother and my siblings and I'm a middle child. That should tell you a lot. I'm not going for much. And you know, growing up, it was even this way. Growing up, even as a child, I'm not going for much. You said do what? Why? You said no. Why? I was very much, my mom used to be like, my rebel child, my special child. I'll pray for you. I need to pray for you. That was great. Love prayers. But, you know, like, growing up, when it came to my mother, it just, like, I wasn't going for that. Like, even now in my adult life, and I've learned things, and she's, like, said things that just, like, slighted me. It just seems like I'm not going for it. So, you know, hey, maybe we need to talk tomorrow. Hey, you know, everybody on the outside looking in tended to have this notion that my mother was just like wonderful. And you know, as you know, a lot of first born daughters excuse excuse me, a lot of firstborn daughters go through it with their moms, and I did. Because I wish I don't think that my mother understood what I understood so young. And what I understood so young is that this is my life. Yeah, I did. Even that she was clothing and sheltering me and working her ass off and going to job when she didn't want to. This is my life. And I'm going to live it how I want to. That's something that I knew really early. And I wish my mother knew that, because I'm going to leave y'all with this little gem. And I think that I've said this in one of my other vlogs. But a lot of our parents don't know that we do not belong to our parents. God gave me to her as a gift. God said, I need you to hold on to this gift. And raise her up. And then she's out. You know? You have a baby girl. I have a little sister behind me. Raise her up. And then she's out. These are gifts. I don't belong to my mother. And I feel like a lot of parents, a lot of children don't know that, and a lot of parents also didn't know that. But yeah, I knew that really early. This is my life. All the things that I have in my life is for me. Ups and downs, and my mom's like, you know, you don't always have to go through this, or you don't always have to do this. And I'm like, growing up, I just accepted, like, it's my life. It's how it has to be. This is ordained by God. This don't have nothing to do with you, honey. Stay out of this. Stay out of this. Girl. You don't know nothing. I felt like that. I felt like my mom didn't know nothing. Like, girl, this is between me and God. My mom used to tell people, like, oh, my daughter, she lives her life to the beat of her own drum. And did. I did. And I still do. So I just feel like this is my life. Who are you to say, like, who are you to say? Who are you to say? You're not God. I had a conversation with God, and he told me to tell you, who are you to say? Yeah. So early on, I just knew, like, girl, I'm gonna give to you. Like, you're my mother, but you don't own me. Like, this strain that you try to have on me to be so, like, strict and to be so, like, do what I say, like, you're going about it the wrong way. Because all you're gonna do is push me further away. And in, like, my 18th, 19th, and 20th year, because of all that, I felt like the world was against me. I felt like I was in this world alone, child. My parents, wow, this vlog is gonna be a little choppy, but my parents had divorced, and my brother was older, so he could, you know, get into his own crib, and he had his own car. He could do the roommate thing or leave, whatever. And I had a little sister, and my little sister is my stepfather's daughter, and that's his only child. And here I am, the middle child. They're getting a divorce, and my mother is moving out, and I'm like, what am I'm like 18 or 19. I'm like, yo, what am I gonna do with myself? I don't know. So I held a lot of resentment, like a bag full, girl, on the shoulders, a bag full of resentment for both of my parents, because I feel like I'm young. I just felt like this, you know, the Mr. Crab meme. I just felt like what am I supposed to do? And it just felt like everybody just floated on to their life, and I felt like because of that, I've made so many decisions that I didn't need to make, because I just felt like, you know, like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. So I ended up just making decisions I didn't need to make, and I just showed up in this world like I'm alone. I was resentful down, child. Yeah. Good old lesson learning times. So yeah, that's like another thing that has led me to just want to heal my relationship with my mother, more so because, again, I'm closer to my mother than I am with my father. I just felt like I was left alone. And the reasoning for this video again was because I was talking to my sister, and I told my sister I would be exposed to her anyway, but when my parents got a divorce, my sister ended up going with my father, or our stepfather, her real father, my stepfather. And I felt like my mother, she did not like that. My mother is a Scorpio woman. Okay, I feel like y'all might have had bad, not, my mother wasn't bad, but like y'all might have had mothers out there. My mother's a Scorpio. She's a Scorpio woman. So I feel like I'm a strong well, I feel like for a lot of life I had to be like a strong bitch, because it's like, girl, I was raised by a Scorpio. My mother's big three are Scorpio, Virgo, and Aquarius. Strong bitch. Okay, so my sister with her father, I felt like my mother was like, bitch, please. So and there were things that, like, my sister was like 13 or 14, I think. She tried to, you know, continue a relationship with our mom, and my mom was just like, you know, you went with your father. Give a fuck. It's kind of like, you know, not like my mom was like, you're not my child, but it was just very like, well, ask your father. Your father. You know, you went with him, ask him. You know. So I feel like my sister she carries resentment in that. And I had to tell my sister the other day, work through it. Okay? You know, if mom always gives you flack, be brief. Okay, mom. Hey, hi, bye. Love you. So nice to see you. You know, when I'm telling y'all, I remember this one time me and my mother were into it, and I was staying at a friend's, but my work shirts were at home. Girl, this is a mess. My work shirts were at my mom's house. So I'm like telling my sister and my brother, like, hey, can you grab my work shirts out the drawer, and just I'll come and grab them from the front door. And my mother happened to be leaving out, girl. My mother bumped me. You know, like the child is like in the hallway. Ugh. Like I told y'all, my mother is a Scorpio woman. Ugh. So, it's just some things that I have saw growing up that just made me look at my mom different. And it was because my mother was probably stuck at 16 when she had to become a mom. And all of her childhood just went to shit. You know what I'm saying? So getting older, I had to just learn grace. Like, okay, girl. Let me pat your back. You know, you've done enough, the most nurturing you could. Now it's time for somebody else to pat your back. Because I felt like my mother she has actually told me she's gone through her life where she's tried to ask her mother things, and ooh, y'all feel that? My mother, listen to this. My mother has gone to her mother to ask for questions, and her mother acts as if they have never happened, or acts as if my mother will never get the answer she's looking for. Don't that sound familiar? I have gone to my mother telling, hey, you did this and you did that, and I've never got the answer I was looking for. So you know what I had to do? Accept. Ain't nothing like a cycle being broken. Ain't nothing like a cycle being broken. Wow. And I literally just came to that on the phone with y'all. This video is low-key all over the place, but this is good. And I hope y'all just, like, going forward, work through your parental problems. Because a lot of times at our parents' big ass age, 40 and up, they're not changing. We're just going to have to accept some of our parents as they are and love them for who they are. And thank God that they brought us this far. Yes, you may have a little I don't claim depression. I don't claim that. We may have a little sadness, a little harm, it may be a little hard getting close to other people just because of the things that we went through with our parents, but you can change. You can make a change. I did. You know, I stopped wanting to, me and my siblings, okay, we used to go on our mother in the group chat. Okay, this girl's getting on my nerves today. Get your mother. And then I just had to tell them, like, yo, I don't want to harbor no angry feelings toward this lady. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm just going to accept mom for who she was, for who she is. And when I can be around her and enjoy myself, I am. And when it's time to go home, I'm going home.